Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally drawing near because Diablo 4's launch day is just around the corner. But before you embark on this epic journey, it's crucial to choose the right character class for you. Today, we're going to be going over the Necromancer's biggest class features, its strengths and weaknesses, the Necromancer's unique class mechanic, as well as displaying a brief skill showcase of the class's abilities, the awesome transmog and appearance options, some effective gameplay builds to get you started come launch day, and the legendary effects of the Necromancer's Paragon board and amazing unique items to give you a great sense of multiple gameplay styles and what the class would look like in the end game. I hope you all are ready because today we're looking at the Necromancer's final look in Diablo 4 to get you ready for launch day. The Necromancer in Diablo 4 will feel both familiar and new to those who have played this class in prior Diablo franchise games. You can summon countless undead minions and golems to accompany you, all while hurling curses, casting dark magic through corruption, bone, and blood, destroying all those who dared to oppose you. Moving on to the strengths and the weaknesses of the Necromancer, no matter what build type you plan on playing, they are all incredibly balanced when it comes to damage, and no build type lags behind in this department. The Necromancer also has some incredible defensives and utility options to make them very durable as well as being very effective in group play, whether it be from your curses or your powerful Blood Mist ability. You also have access to your minions, or you could sacrifice them to help you immensely in combat. If you go full-on minion summoning build, you could literally have an army to follow you around. Now, easily one of the biggest weaknesses of the Necromancer is the fact that they are by far the most immobile class in the entire game. They have absolutely no gap closer or abilities to make you traverse a great distance. This class can also seem a bit complicated at times, whether it comes from managing how many minions you have out and active, laying down curses, using corpse explosion, and corpse tendrils properly. It's not an easy class to just pick up and handle. Now, the Necromancer's unique class mechanic is called the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead allows you to customize each of your minion types individually to grant a wide variety of bonuses, like either dealing more melee damage, being more tanky to soak up some damage, as well as even more effects. Each specialized minion in the army has unique upgrades available to them to change their overall playstyle. You can even sacrifice a specific unit in exchange for a personal permanent buff. With this, players can mix and match having no minions at all to make you a supercharged monster, or all the possible summoned units while still having relevant options to enhance their build. Alright, now to give you a better sense of gameplay, we're going to show you some of the best Necromancer builds that were tested out in all 3 beta weekends to give you a couple of the highest rated options for you come launch day. Now, of course, there are other options out there when it comes to builds. This just gets you started if you want something quick, easy, and effective. Now, firstly, starting off with the straightforward and very effective Summoner Necromancer build. This build is all about being the true minion master the Necromancer is. The whole idea is to have as many minions as you possibly can have active, and then amplifying their damage and effectiveness as much as you can, while debuffing the enemy to increase their damage even more. The caster range DPS summoner focuses on grabbing Decompose, as well as Blight to cast shadow damage over time effects, as well as amplifying your minion damage with these abilities as well. From there, you grab passive talents on your skill tree that makes your darkness skills amplify your minion damage even more, as well as stunning enemies and bringing you bonuses that really help shadow damage over time effects. Now, if you'd rather focus on being more up close and personal with summoning minions, there's definitely an option for that as well. You focus on grabbing Reap as well as Sever or even Blood Search to deal some amazing area of effect damage with it being paired with Overpower. You can also grab Thorns in your talent tree to make you and your minions reflect damage, as well as increase your damage reduction while you are nearby your minions, being the ultimate Dark Leader that is up close and personal. This build really gives you that Death Knight feel if you've ever played World of Warcraft, and it brings such an awesome class fantasy. Next up, we have the Bone Necromancer. This build was solid through all beta testing weekends, and is a fantastic choice for a ranged DPS Necromancer build. You have amazing single target damage with Bone Splinters and Bone Spear, great piercing and AoE damage with Bone Spear and Corpse Explosion, and some good survivability with Bone Storm's damage reduction, as well as having Blood Mist and your minions to soak up some damage. All around, this build is a very solid choice, and the only thing it does lack is some utility. But I have heard some wise people say, why would I need utility when everything around me is already dead? Well, this build kind of follows that formula. There are also different variations where you can run Bone Spirit as well. You know, toss out those Bone Spirits that can absolutely destroy elites and bosses if you have enough skill points to upgrade and fully utilize that build. This is one of the more higher performing builds in the game as of right now, and is going to have a very consistent and smooth playthrough as you're completing the main story. Okay, now to give you a taste of what you could be looking forward to when it comes to the Necromancer in the endgame, we're going to show you their Paragon board legendary powers and unique items, which will drastically improve builds and be a ginormous part of your experience in Diablo 4. Now, all this information that we found is data mined and leaked, and the developers actually haven't officially released yet, so minor percentages and details can be changed. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Paragon board is a feature that unlocks at level 50 and is going to be a very major part of Diablo 4's endgame. You get 4 Paragon points each time you level up past level 50, and you could spend them on tiles to further progress your character. Tile benefits range from minor stat boost increases all the way up to becoming complete build enhancers. There are also gateway nodes, which are placed at the edge of the boards, which you can then attach brand new boards to and further progress through those as well. Quick disclaimer, obviously all these stats and minor details are subject to change, so take the exact numbers and percentages with a grain of salt. First up, we have Cult Leader. Your minions deal 10% increased damage for each minion type you have active. This only applies to the minion type Skeletal Warrior, Skeletal Mage, and Golem, and this board is all about being a real minion master. Increase the damage and survivability of all your minions overall. Next up, you have Hulking Monstrosity. Your Golem has 30% increased maximum life and deals 30% increased damage. This board is all about increasing your Golem damage and survivability, as well as your damage while your Golem is active. After that, we have Flesh Eater. Consuming 5 corpses grants 40% increased damage for 6 seconds. This Paragon board's focus is really a little bit all over the place, giving you bonuses increasing damage to elites, potion healing, damage mitigation, damage to injured enemies, so it's kind of a little bit all over the place. Next up, you have Scent of Death. With at least 2 corpses nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction. With no corpses nearby, you deal 15% increased damage. This build focuses on increasing your damage to injured and healthy enemies, as well as survivability. After that, you have Bone Graft. Hitting enemies with bone skills increases your damage dealt by 1% and your maximum essence by 3 for 8 seconds, stacking up to 7.5% increased damage and 22.5 maximum essence. This board focuses on increasing your maximum essence overall, as well as the damage you deal with all your bone skills. Next up, you have Blood Begets Blood. Blood orbs grant 5% increased damage up to 15% for 5 seconds, and this board focuses upon increasing the healing of blood orbs as well as increasing the damage you deal when you pick one up. It also increases the damage of your overpower abilities as well. After that, you have Bloodbath, where attacks that are guaranteed to overpower deal 50% increased overpower damage. This board focuses upon survivability and increases your overpower damage, as well as increasing your damage while you're fortified. And lastly, we have Wither. Your shadow damage over time effects have a 5% chance to deal 50% bonus damage each time they deal damage. This chance is increased by 1%, and bonus damage is increased by 2.5% for each 50 willpower you have. This board heavily increases your shadow damage as well as damage to targets who are currently taking shadow damage over time effects. If you don't know what uniques are in Diablo 4, it's pretty much going to be like your absolute best in slot gear when it comes to the end game of Diablo 4. So giving you a very drastic boost in power to your character overall, whether it be with a specific build or a hybrid set of builds, it's going to be very, very important in the end game. First up for the Necromancer, we have the Scythe Black River. Your corpse explosion consumes up to 4 additional corpses, dealing increased damage with a larger radius per additional corpse consumed. Also increasing your rank of corpse explosion and damage to healthy enemies, making it great for a corpse explosion build. Next up, we have the two-handed Scythe Bloodless Scream. Your darkness skills now chill enemies up to 40%. It also gives you Lucky Hit. Your darkness skills have a 100% chance to generate additional essence against frozen targets. It also increases your darkness skill damage as well as damage to chilled and frozen enemies. This brings you crowd control that you desperately need as a darkness casting necromancer. After that, we have the Amulet Death Speaker's Pendant. Blood Surge casts a mini nova on your minions, and damages increased by 10% per target drained by the initial cast, up to 50%. This also increases the damage of your blood and summoning skills, and increases your ranks of the Coalesced passive. Next up, we have the Greaves of the Empty Tomb. You create desecrated ground beneath your severs as they travel, damaging enemies for shadow damage over 2 seconds. This also increases your lucky hit chance with shadow damage, as well as brings essence cost reduction and damage reduction for enemies affected by your shadow damage over time effects. After that, you have the chess piece Blood Artisan's Cuirass. This is a very, very cool looking chess piece, by the way. When you pick up a certain amount of blood orbs, a free bone spirit is spawned, dealing a bonus damage based on your current life percentage. It also increases the damage you deal after you pick up a blood orb, as well as increasing the ranks of your bone spirit ability. Next up, we have the gloves Howl from Below. Corpse Explosion now summons a volatile skeleton that charges at random enemies and explodes. Corpse Explosion damage is increased massively as well. After that, you have the headpiece Deathless Visage. Bone Spear leaves behind echoes as it travels that explode, dealing additional damage. This also increases your physical and critical strike damage, as well as your maximum essence overall, making this a crucial piece for a Bone Necromancer build. And lastly, you have the Ring of Mendeln. While you have 7 or more minions, you gain Lucky Hit up to a 10% chance to empower all of your minions, causing the next attack from each of them to explode for physical damage, giving a really nice piece if you're a summoner build as a Necromancer, and it also increases your minions' attack speed as well as their maximum minion life, and gives you thorns as well. Okay, to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, if you love a class that is all about curses and dark magic, I mean, there's no way this class couldn't be for you. The amount of minions that you can summon and the control over your class's abilities, as well as customization with how in-depth this class could be with the Book of the Dead system, is truly just one of a kind in Diablo 4. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we are also doing a giveaway for a free copy of Diablo 4, which we will announce near the end of May, right before launch. So if you guys are interested, please be sure to check the link in the bio to see how you can earn a free copy for yourself. And we also have an official Comeback Kids Diablo 4 Discord server with almost 1,000 people in there talking and chatting every single day about Diablo. So if you want to join a fun, happy, and positive community for Diablo 4, be sure to click the link in the bio as well. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. It's an absolute pleasure to be making content for you all. Until the very end, my name is Sky from the Comeback Kids. I will see you all in the next one. Peace!